Hey guys, it's Chris and welcome back to another Game of Thrones Season 8 video, and today we continue our little series on things that are not going to happen in Game of Thrones Season 8. Alright, and before we get started, please stick around to the end of the video. I have a very cool giveaway coming up, and we will announce the winners on this Sunday's live stream at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. And that is going to be a ThroneLegends.com giveaway for an exclusive, immersive event in Ireland that will include the actual dire wolves, the actual Iron Throne, as well as some actors from Game of Thrones as well. And I will be giving away 2 free tickets to this event, where basically you just show up with an ID and you're already on the guest list. So stick around to the end of the video and get all the details on how to enter that contest. Alright, so let's jump right in. Number 1, Arya will not be revealed to be the waif. Now I do like this idea of a big twist where Arya has been dead this entire time and she comes back to Westeros and continues some Faceless Men storyline where she was actually the haircut, or the waif, posing as Arya Stark, but in the scheme of things it doesn't really make much sense. She wouldn't know what to say to certain people, she certainly wouldn't have Arya's memories, for example coming back to Westeros and killing Walder Frey and the rest of the Freys in order to avenge the Red Wedding. So it just wouldn't fit. She would be out of character, she would be saying odd things to people, she wouldn't know what to say, she wouldn't know the past experiences between them. Sure, the waif knows a little bit of Arya's past, but not enough detail to actually interact with people she knows and loves, especially her family back at Winterfell. And besides, that was in fact the haircut's face we saw hanging in the Batcave, the Hall of Faces, back in Season 6. And on to number 2. There is not more than one Night King. So I know there's a lot of theories that there has been multiple Night Kings, that the first man we saw turn into the first White Walker has somehow passed down that title over generations, over 8,000 years supposedly. But this is the same antagonist that is coming back after all this time, again supposedly 8,000 years. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for a Sub-Zero Ice King to pass down the title to other White Walkers, which he clearly turned from human babies. I believe the showrunner simply used the name Night King in reference to the Night's King tale from the books to simply identify the de facto leader of the White Walkers and the first White Walker ever created, who I do believe will be a Proto-Stark. There has to be a reason he's coming back now and waited all this time, and we do have to get this final big twist in relation to the Night King, so it doesn't make sense that he somehow passed down this title to other White Walkers, and besides that, he actually is the exact same actor who we saw get turned into the White Walker in Bran's vision. And number 3, there will be no Nissa Nissa. At least in the sense of Jon stabbing Dany or Melisandre, for example, to gain a literal flaming sword. Again, I've said on many live streams here, what could that flaming sword do that a Valyrian steel sword or dragonglass can't already do? It would have to freaking shoot laser beams. Besides, as I've mentioned here many times, I think the Nissa Nissa tale is essentially a recipe, for lack of a better word, for Valyrian steel anyway, and it takes Dany's house words, fire and blood. Now I'm certainly still open to a special sword, Dawn maybe, since I don't think personally that Valyrian steel or dragonglass can hurt the Night King. After all, he already has a piece lodged in his chest, so it's certainly possible for a magical weapon to be needed to kill him or to remove that dragonglass. However, I think that magical weapon is Jon's blood, otherwise there's no point in R plus L equals J and magical Stark Targaryen DNA, or if you think a little further back, actual Valyrian blood and First Man blood mixed. Jon is the first of his kind, the Song of Ice and Fire, so perhaps Jon feeding werewood.net with his magical blood will give Bran that power up or boost to help destroy the Night King for good. And number 4, speaking of Valyrian steel, Gendry will not forge any Valyrian steel. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but they already have tons of dragonglass, and there's simply not enough time to make a shit ton of Valyrian steel swords or other weapons. I actually believe that Valyrian steel needs to remain a mystery, and rediscovering the secret actually takes away from the few we have now left in our story. Besides, if you follow the fire and blood or Nissa Nissa sacrifice idea about Valyrian steel, they could not just go around tempering blades in the hearts of the living. And finally, number 5, Cersei will not outlive the Night King to be the final villain. It would completely undermine the entire story if she were to be the final big bad. The prologue of the first book and the cold opening, pun intended, to Season 1, and the build-up over many years would be ruined if they just kill the Night King in, say, episode 4 or 5, and the last episode or 2 simply becomes about overthrowing Cersei. We have to get that final twist and big payoff that involves the original threat to Westeros, that was presented to us from day one in book and show. So there's not a whole lot more to say about this other than I think that this would actually be bad writing, book or show, if the Night King was killed and then the last couple episodes or last book became all about overthrowing Cersei, the final villain. Anyway guys, that's all I have. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What are some other things that will not happen in Game of Thrones Season 8? And if you disagree and think some of these things will, let me know why as well. And really quickly, before we get out of here, a reminder about the contest. Again, this is ThroneLegends.com, and they are hosting a very cool immersive Game of Thrones experience in Dublin, Ireland. And it's going to include the actual Got Direwolves, Thor and Odin. If you remember a few weeks back, I did an interview with their owner, Will, and he's also involved in this as well, so you get to meet Thor and Odin, sit on the actual HBO replica Iron Throne. There's going to be costume characters, there's going to be a big dragon banquet, in other words, a huge feast, where you get to hang out with some GOT actors as well, a life-size dragon skull, as well as many prop exhibits, sword fighting lessons, night training, etc. It's going to be a really cool experience, and I also got invited myself. Unfortunately, I can't make it to Ireland in the next week or so, but some of you may be able to, or perhaps already live in Ireland or close by. So in order to enter, just click the link in the description below. And in addition to just being a subscriber to this channel and leaving a comment on this video as well as sharing the video, there will be some other ways to enter as well for those who want more entries and more possibilities to win. And all that is there in the Gleam app. So be sure to click the link in the description below. And again, we'll announce the winner for 2 tickets during this Sunday's live stream at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. So good luck to everyone, and tell them SmokeScreen sent you. And as usual, thank you for all the support, especially you guys on Patreon. And a huge shout out to my executive Patreon SmokeScreen producers, D. Brown, Erin Habig, Lala Gig, HoonJive, Mike Colton, Doc Holliday, Anastasia, Carole Brown, Goska, Lisa Phillips, Alfred Borstmayer, Dit Smith, and John Carey. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support, and to everyone on Patreon and YouTube as well. And if you dig what I do here, please give these videos a like, comment, and a share, and be sure to subscribe to get everything, and be sure to click that notification bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.